Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to tell the truth. It's time to stop playing games. I'm going to reveal some things tonight that I have talked about before, but I got receipts tonight as it relates to what happened at the National African American Black American Broadcasting Association. There was a lot of, how can I say my words here? There were a lot of people that were members of this organization who did not want Donald Trump to speak. There were a lot of criticism for those that were members, board members that were criticizing the decision, didn't agree with the decision. But in some ways, if you don't let this man talk, you won't be able to see or hear the underlying racism in the things that Donald Trump says. This does not mean that we ignore the racism of other people politically. As I have said, and I have done to anybody that will criticize the things that I'm going to say about Trump tonight, you can look at my channel. I have done plenty of content over the years calling out the Democrats, calling out Joe Biden in his connection to Strom Thurmond, who is a legitimate Dixiecrat. And for some of y'all who got wax in your ears, you keep forgetting that the Dixiecrats are the racist Democrats who created the Ku Klux Klan. And when LB signed the 1965 Voters' Right Act, he said that we have lost the South forever. And as a result, the Dixiecrats left the Democratic Party and ran their asses right over to the Republican Klan. Now, that's a fact. And they brought all their racist tropes, their racist ideology, their beliefs into that party and literally poisoned the party, just like they did the Democratic Party. Case in point, the Republicans used to be very proud of the legacy of Ronald Reagan. They said that they were Ronald Reagan Republicans. They put that man on a pedestal, and they have allowed Donald Trump to poison their political party in the same way that they let the Dixiecrats do it that ran over. You see, let me give you some history here. Donald Trump is just like a man by the name of George Wallace. George Wallace is a political figure who stood in the way of black people being able to vote. That's what the whole walk across the Ebert Pettus Bridge was all about. And it was George Wallace that stood in front of them and tried to stop it. And he also, in turn, ran for president. He was just like Donald Trump, a loud mouth, said any and everything out of his mouth, rude, lies, 1,000 words a lie a day. And eventually, of course, Trump had his life attempted, and he did not, he had his life attempted upon, and they're investigating how did all that happen. What's going on, Hollis B? Thank you, seeing popping in and out, but want to give thanks to you. Thank you very much for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
I definitely appreciate that so much. So George Wallace had his life attempted upon, and he actually did get shot. And that sort of put an end to his presidency or his run at the presidency. But my point I'm making here is that he basically was one of those Dixiecrats that poisoned the Republican Party at that time. And the Republican Party pretty much today is Donald Trump's party, and he has poisoned it with so much. Now, for those of you on YouTube who made the statements that, the black woman, Rachel Scott, was rude to him. How dare she? How many of y'all Negroes are sticking up for Trump? But you don't want to stick up for the sister here, who, by the way, everything that she said was the truth. See, it's funny how everybody says that she was rude, but you never denied that what she said was not true. See, that shows you the hypocrisy of people on social media who would defend someone like Donald Trump, who wouldn't defend you. A man who said that he would pay the bills of everybody that was involved in January 6th. He didn't do anything for those people that were staunch Trump supporters. You say, oh, she was rude to Trump. And I'm here to tell you, I want you to get out of the emotions that you think that she was rude to Trump, or you believe that she was rude to Trump, this young lady right here. And by the way, all these women that I'm going to put on the board, because I know Negroes on social media, the first thing you're going to say out of your mouth, oh, they're single black women. They're all married. She's married. April Ryan's married. Abby from CNN, whether you like her or not, she's married. Because that's the thing that everybody likes to say. Oh, these single black women. No, these are black women that are married. Black men. I dare you to say that this sister right here, Rachel Scott, told a lie. Why don't y'all analyze whether what she said was a lie or what she said was the truth? Because tonight, I keep telling people that I'm a person that likes to show receipts, show data, show evidence of what is happening. Don't play with me tonight, because I have some evidence that will shut up a lot of you Negroes that are riding with Donald Trump, and you keep sucking on Donald Trump's dick.
Tell the truth.
And you're swallowing, as I said in the last video. I want how many people on the YouTube streets actually took the time to research the things that sister said that Donald Trump has done to black people, prominent black people within the media, within politics, and how he has been very disrespectful to black women. He does not have respect for women. He's a narcissist. And I'm best to analyze this dude because I work in mental health. I see all the signs. He's a narcissist. He has a fragile ego when he's confronted. And when he's confronted, he goes to using all sorts of statements trying to put a person down. That's all Trump does. He has no substance to him. But then again, he grew up in Queens, or at least he was in Queens at one point in time, where his father, who was a man named Fred Trump, who took a liking to the Ku Klux Klan, and he grew up partially in a racist. When he was in Queens, growing up there as a young man, he grew up in a very racist part of Queens, New York. I'm talking about your man Trump, who moves his hands back and forth like he's got a goddamn accordion in his hand. Because I took the time to listen to what the sister Rachel Scott was saying, because she's a professional journalist. You have a lot of people on television that are just giving you their opinion. They're not real journalists. She's a real journalist, has experience, and everything that she said that Donald Trump has done to black people in his anti-black ways, she was telling the truth. So I don't know how anybody
tell the truth
can say she was being rude towards Trump when you should at least look at, did she lie on Trump? You may not have liked her the way she asked the question, but hell, was y'all expecting Trump to go to Chicago and meet with black people who are what? Journalists, people who work in news media, black independent media, news media, black media? Were you expecting them to just give him an easy out? And we know that Trump constantly is disrespectful to news media in general. And when he doesn't get a question that he likes, he goes to the little kid stuff, which is your fake news. But ask yourself this. If Donald Trump believes that all the news is fake, why the hell does he keep getting on the news? Meaning, why does he take interviews? Why does he keep going over well, we know Fox is nothing but propaganda, but why did he take the what was the opportunity that CNN gave him when he had that goofy town hall meeting? Why does he keep talking to people in mainstream media? Why does he keep going and allowing himself to be interviewed if he thinks that media is fake? Donald Trump has been talking to mainstream media and using it as a way to manipulate his agenda for a very long time. So if this man thinks that the mainstream media is fake, why does he keep even talking to them? Ask yourself that question. No, he talks to mainstream media because mainstream media, he wants that free attention, that free press. And that's why he's going crazy over Kamala Harris. Whether you're for her or not, that's your business. But because Kamala Harris has stolen the headlines and has sort of moved up in the polls, Donald Trump and his people are going crazy. They don't know what to do. Once again, I don't care whether you are a supporter of Kamala Harris or not. This is not what I'm doing this for tonight. I'm doing this for the fact that we got to stop being in denial of this man's racism. Now, I know Negroes like to hold on to this thing that Donald Trump has done something for black folks. Oh, he gave black folks, colleges, HBCs, all this money. And if he was a racist, he wouldn't give them that money. I'm about to shut that shit up tonight because I got the evidence and the data. And I know the person who's responsible for the money that HBCUs got. Prior to Donald Trump putting on that clown show in front of all those HBCU presidents, using them as nothing more than a photo op, claiming he was going to give them all this money. Do you know that the program was already put in place? All he did was pick up a program with money that was already allocated, and he didn't do more for them than Obama. Matter of fact, Donald Trump's administration, let me let y'all know on a little secret. Donald Trump's administration actually was trying to zero out. This is to all the individuals out there who think they know so much about what Donald Trump did for black folks at HBCUs. I'm about to bust your bubble tonight with the evidence and the data. How many of y'all know that his administration was about to zero it out? I'm going to show you the individual black person who's actually the person behind HBCUs getting so-called money that Donald Trump tried to put his face on and lie to black people. I'm about to give you the person's picture, their position in government, and I'm about to show you the bill that they wrote that Donald Trump tried to put his face on and try to take credit for. This is what he does. He takes credit for what other people did while lying to black people. And then we got Negroes all over social media talking about Donald Trump did this, Donald Trump did that. Oh, I'm going to talk about his opportunity zones and what they did not do for black people. But let's get to the video, because I want to play a part of that video when he was speaking, when Rachel Scott asked him some questions, because guess what, everybody? I got the receipts to everything to back up what that sister said to him and the shit that he did, and y'all need to watch it. Y'all need to get off the y'all need to get off the Donald Trump plantation. Now, I'm not saying this because I'm a fan of Joe Biden. I don't believe in being on the Joe Biden plantation either. But a lot of Negroes like to say that Joe Biden wrote the crime bill and that he's the architect along with writing that crime bill with this man right here, Strom Thurmond. What political party do you think Strom Thurmond is a part of when they did this? The Republican Party.
Tell the truth.
The Republican Party was involved in that crime bill. So if we're gonna talk about Joe, we have to blame Joe. We have to blame those Republicans like Strom Thurmond, a Dixiecrat, who came over from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party. We have to also blame the Republicans' part in the crime bill, as well as Joe Biden. But another person that we keep forgetting that was a part of it, because Joe Biden's crime bill could never be passed without someone signing it. Who turns bills into law? It's the President of the United States. Who was the President of the United States when Joe Biden crafted that bill and got it passed to be law? Well, y'all know the man who went on Arsenio Hall with his saxophone and made y'all Negroes say that he was the first black president, which was a lie.
Tell the truth.
We're talking about Bill Clinton. Why don't y'all talk about Bill Clinton? Because that law could have never impacted black men without Bill Clinton signing the bill into law. He signed the bill and put it into law. My man Gray Pill Podcast says, now the sheep are arguing over race and color rather than real topics, discussions, and politics that affect this world. Right, it does. But I just wanted to say this, is that if we're going to blame Biden for the crime bill, you have to blame all culprits involved. It was the Republican Party involved. It was Joe Biden who crafted it, along with Strom Thurmond, who was a Republican. Y'all never want to add the Republicans to it. Y'all never want to add Strom Thurmond to it, and those like him. And y'all never want to add Bill Clinton to it as well. I don't know why, because he signed it into law. He could have rejected it. What do they call it? He could have vetoed it, but he didn't. And y'all called this man the first black president. How laughable. Now, let's get to it right now. Let me play the video when Rachel asked Donald Trump those questions, and then she's gonna rattle off some things that he's done that she wanted to confront him about as a journalist, which is what a journalist does. What do you expect, everybody? And everything that she says, I've got the receipts to back up what she's saying. Why don't y'all talk? Why don't y'all can't call her a liar, but you'll support your man Trump, even though what she said about him is not a lie. So let's get to it. Let's get into a reaction studio setting and see what we can do here, y'all. Okay? See what we can do here. All right, let's get into it. Now, what I want to do here is I want to put this up. The audience was gasping. Trump performance at black journalist panel left him exposed. Yeah, he exposed himself. The former president snapped snurred through his interview and looked for all the world like an old grumpy man. Now, this is another thing. Trump kept talking about how he was felt like they were rude, that he lied to everybody and told everybody that their equipment wasn't working, that they had him waiting a long time. That's a lie. Here is what really happened. This is a breakdown right here. After keeping the audience, okay, interrogators waiting, okay, he kept the audience, that black audience waiting for a long time. Donald Trump finally arrived on stage for his Wednesday appearance at the convention for the National Association of Black Journalists. Over an hour late, he blamed the delay not on the behind the scenes between the NABJ and his campaign about whether he could be fact-checked. So the reason why Donald Trump took a while to get on stage, and the reason why Donald Trump sat up there and he basically lied and told you guys that the equipment wasn't working, this wasn't working, it was because they wanted to fact-check him. They had people there to fact-check everything that Donald Trump was saying so that they could put it up on a screen so people can see. He did not like that. Him and his campaign people were backstage causing a lot of ruckus about being fact-checked. This man does not want to be fact-checked. So what he did is that he tried to play the game like it was black people who didn't have their shit together. Oh, black folks didn't have the microphone together. Black folks didn't have this together. No, it was Trump and his people who did not want to be fact-checked. I'm just letting y'all know what was really going on behind there, because Trump lied to everybody and said something else when it was he didn't want to be fact-checked. Fact-checked. He did not want to be fact-checked. Now, let's get into this right now and let you hear this. You've heard this already, but I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to reinforce what the evidence of what the sister said to him, Rachel Scott. And here we go.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama.
Now, Barack Obama, he put out false claims that Barack Obama was not a citizen. Remember? That's a fact. That's one of the reasons why he was able to build the MAGA movement, because the MAGA movement is partially out of the birther movement, as well as the Tea Party movement. Remember, he kept saying, we want to see his birth certificate, right? I want to see his birth certificate. Oh, Obama, you not a real citizen. And the reason why Donald Trump did that is because he was trying to delegitimize Obama's presidency by saying, how can this black man be president? How dare this black man be president? He can't be the president of the United States. This Negro's not a real citizen. That was a lie. He said he was going to pay investigators to investigate in Hawaii, where he was born. Turn out the investigators came up with nothing. So that statement that Rachel Scott said is a fact. Here is why it's a fact. Here's the receipts right here. Check it out. Don't play with me, everybody. Don't play.
It's not a birth certificate, Candy. And people are trying to figure out, why isn't he giving his birth certificate? It's not a birth certificate. A certificate of life.
Who is Donald Trump to question whether Barack Obama is a citizen? Who died and made him God? Huh? I don't care how you feel about Barack, whether you didn't think he did enough for black people. Hey, I got my issues with Barack as well. But the fact of the matter is, this is how Donald Trump got his rise in the first place politically, by saying that Barack was not a citizen, because he was basically trying to say that Barack's presidency was illegitimate. So that statement that she said was a fact. Let's hear some more. Huh? Why don't y'all argue the facts and get out of your love for this orange man. Y'all willing to accept him talking down on black folks. Y'all got no problem with the orange man talking down on black folks, either present or past. You give him a pass. I don't give nobody no pass. I'm not giving no damn cracker a pass talking about my people or talking about me or my community. Oh, wait till I get to the Baltimore situation. Oh, I've got it tonight. Nah, I don't care about all you folks on YouTube who support this man. You can support him if you want to, but I don't support any, and I called him that, and I'm gonna call him again. I don't support any cracker who's been putting out this type of bullshit for years. And don't give me that crap about, well, he hung out with rappers. I don't give a damn about the rappers. The rappers are there for a transaction. They're worried about themselves. They don't represent us. And the Al Sharptons, we already know he's a Fed. They don't represent us either. So dismiss me with that tied little argument. Who cares about the rappers? These rappers, they're not doing nothing for our community. Most of them. A small number of them are doing something. But those rappers that was hanging out with Donald Trump, they were just trying to get close to money and what they could do for themselves. They wasn't kicking it with Donald Trump because they think that it was going to do something for the community. Donald Trump was engaging in anti-black sentiments towards black people. He's got a problem with black men that are intelligent. He has a problem with black women as well. And these black women are married women who are professional, have themselves together. See, I don't have no problem with black women in general, because I don't have a problem getting women. Most of the Negroes on YouTube who cry about women 24/7 is because you can't get the women that you want. So you come on YouTube and you cry baby. Now listen to this.
Live birth, and you can see that one that you have and the one that I brought you, because that's the one that's on the internet and all over the place. It doesn't even have a serial number. It doesn't have a signature. It doesn't have a signature. One that I saw on television has a stamp, but that's not a signature.
Right, but that's how they
Excuse me, but that's not the one that they were showing to everybody. And I just say very simply, why
Once again, who is Donald Trump to question a man's citizenship? He's jealous. He's always been jealous of Barack because Barack has a Harvard education. He was president of the Harvard Law Review. The man is well educated. The man has, I think, a doctorate degree in constitutional law. I believe so. The man is more accomplished. The only reason Donald Trump has any kind of juice is because he got his money from his daddy, his racist daddy, his Ku Klux Klan loving daddy, Fred Trump, who passed the money down to him. We're talking about a man who bankrupted a casino, and a man who showed racism towards Native Americans who were whooping his ass in the casino game. Oh, I've got old footage about how he was talking about natives.
Doesn't he show his birth certificate? Why has he spent over $2 million in legal fees to keep this quiet and to keep this silent?
Right there. That's a lie. That's a lie. You can't become the president of the United States. There's no way you could become a president of the United States without these particular departments. State Department, they go through, when you run for a political office like president, they put you through a thorough background check. What is he talking about? You're already vetted. What this is all about is that Donald Trump was jealous of Barack. He was been jealous of him the whole time, and he wanted to delegitimize his presidency.
I listened today to the tape of the grandmother, and she was saying he was born essentially in Kenya, and then all of a sudden, don't forget, this is when Barack Obama was hot as a pistol because it looked like he was going to get the nomination, and they had a lot of people, a lot of handlers in there, and all of a sudden you hear people all over the room, no, he was born in Hawaii, he was born in Hawaii. But she didn't
But they
say
said it was
that.
a misinterpretation.
Excuse me, they
of that.
drowned her out. She was like, there were a lot of people in that room, and she said, Kenya, he was born right here. And then they started saying, screaming, no, 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 you mean Hawaii, you mean Hawaii. There's
And
a
they say
lot
it's
of crazy things.
interpretation. There it is.
Look, I don't like to talk about this issue too much because I really would rather talk about China. I would really rather talk about...
No, you're talking about the issue because you always had a thing or hatred for Barack, because you said, how could this black man or this biracial man beat me at something that I want to become, which is president? Because remember, prior to this, Donald Trump was losing. He every time he ran, he kept losing. And he could not stand the fact that a black man could get the White House before him. That's why when he got in office, he kept saying, I got the biggest this, we got the biggest crowd, we got the biggest this, because Obama broke records when he became president with crowds and stuff like that. That's why he talks like that. This the chump that y'all want to, this the chump that y'all got his dingling all in your mouth. This chump right here.
What OPEC is doing to destroy us, I would really rather talk about other things. But I'll be honest with you. I started this, and I heard the question for the first time 4 weeks ago. And I assumed, although I had heard about it for years, I assumed that he was born in the United States, meaning in Hawaii. I assumed that. The more I go into it, the more suspect it is.
He's such bullshit. He's such bullshit. So as you may know or may not know, eventually Donald Trump had to admit that Obama was a citizen, because it just wasn't, his whole argument wasn't working, and there was too much evidence to shut that up. So that sister right there, Rachel, when she made that first statement to him, she was literally telling the truth. I don't know why y'all have a problem with a black woman who is a journalist who's bringing up things that this man did, because she made a good point. You want the black vote, but you've done things in your past that has been very disrespectful towards black people, particularly the problems that he has had with dealing with in the way he treats and talk to black people in the press, particularly black women in the press who are legitimate in their careers as journalists. I got a problem with that. As a black man, I have a problem with that. Now let's go back. Let's go back to the rest of the questions that she's asking him, because I've got receipts for everything that she asked him, every damn thing.
Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words.
Boom. Who were those women? Let me put this up for you right here. This man is a piece of shit. Okay? Donald Trump back in 2019. So interesting to see progressive Democrat congresswomen who originally came from countries whose governments are completely and totally capsulated. The worst, most corrupt and impelled anywhere in the world, if they even have a functioning government at all. Now, this is what's crazy about this, y'all. I'm going to bring something up to you. This is what's crazy about this. Then he puts this, telling the people of the United States, the greatest and most powerful nation on earth, how our government is to be run. Why don't they go back and help fix the total broken and crime infested places from which they came from, right? Now, check this out, everybody. These particular women that are in government, 3 of them are born in the United States. One of them is an immigrant that immigrated over from her country to the United States. But 3 of the ladies are from the United States. So they were born here. They're from here. This shows you the ignorance of the racism that Donald Trump has. He's always going after women. He's a sexist, he's a misogynist, and he's always got something to say about black women who are in positions of authority. See, it takes an insecure man who can't deal with a woman who has accomplishments. Usually weak men have problems with women who have accomplishments, because usually it's because they're men who can't either accomplish anything themselves or haven't accomplished anything themselves. So they're weak-minded, and they feel intimidated by women who have accomplished things. He's a weak-minded, and you got a lot of these kind of guys running around on YouTube, running at the mouth, week in and week out. Check this out. This is what he did. Now, she said that statement. It's a fact that he did this. Check this out. I bring the receipts. I ain't got time to play.
Many people saw that tweet as racist, and that white nationalist groups are finding common cause with you on that point.
It doesn't concern me because
Boom.
many people agree with me.
The fact that he's got a lot of white supremacists that follow him, that support him. Oh, he never denounces them. Check this out. Let's hear some more.
And all I'm saying, they want to leave, they can leave.
President Trump grabbed headlines for attacking 4 freshman lawmakers known as the Squad for their criticism of his policies and his worldview, but primarily to take advantage of what he saw as a rift in the Democratic Party.
I'm looking at this Omar from Minnesota, and if
now Omar is not FBA or Black American in terms of, but I don't care. He has a thing for attacking Black women in particular. I don't give a damn what part of the world that they come from. He's got an issue and a thing for attacking particularly Black women. He does attack the press, but he goes out of his way to attack especially Black women in the press.
one half of the things they're saying about her are true. She shouldn't even be in office. But Cortez...
He's saying that she shouldn't be in office because he doesn't think she should be in the country. Remember, when he says make America great again, they're talking about make America white again. It's a dog whistle.
Should treat Nancy Pelosi with respect. She should not be doing what...
Now, this is the hypocrisy of Donald Trump. This man has said, using his own words, this man has said nasty things about Nancy Pelosi. He has said nasty things about women in the Democratic Party. Now, I don't care about either one of these parties, but Donald Trump has said a lot of nasty things about the very woman that he now wants to defend here. But this is part of his manipulation.
She's doing. And I'll tell you something about Nancy Pelosi that you know better than I do. She is not a racist, okay? She is not a racist. For them to call her a racist is a disgrace.
He went further, though, than anyone on the left criticizing these congresswomen did. He told them to go back to where they came from. One of the big problems with that is that 3 of the 4 were born in the United States. One of them came to the U.S. as a child and is a naturalized citizen. One of the ways he rose into the political climate and atmosphere was by suggesting that President Barack Obama, who was born in the United States, should go back to Africa.
You are not allowed to be a president if you're not born in this country. He may not have been born in this country.
The reason the president...
You see, he's got a hard-on for Barack Obama. Like I told y'all, this is Donald Trump's racism, y'all.
President continues to take this approach is because it is effective with his base. When we look at some of the data that came out of the 2016 election, we know that people who supported Trump had significant cultural anxiety about the changing climate of what it meant to be an American.
These are people that hate our country. Hey, John, they hate our country. They hate it, I think, with a passion. Now, it's possible I'm wrong. The voter will decide.
This ties into the president's strategy of caring most and maybe even only about his base. Earlier this year, we saw him in an interview say that he may not even have to worry about swing voters because his base is so strong that all he has to do is focus on turnout. What the president does by leaning into these cultural anxieties and culture wars is remind the people who backed him that he is with them, he is for them, and that if they come back to him in 2020, he will continue the worldview and agenda that they originally got behind in 2016.
Citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe Black district attorneys.
Right? Who are those Black district attorneys? You got Alan Briggs, right? Alan Briggs. You've got Letitia James, right? He didn't like her because they both were bringing charges against him in a situation where he was lying about the value of his properties in New York. He was also paying off some prostitute that he was with. Despicable. He's a despicable man. And this man was married when he was doing all this stuff. Remember that? Let me let's play this.
To help with the inner cities.
Well,
okay?
when you say the inner cities, are you gonna include the?
I'm gonna come back to that in a minute about the inner cities. This is the one I want to show y'all, folks. Here's the one right here, and here we go.
Square feet. You said that your apartment
Well,
was
my
valued
financial statement's just for you, by the way.
You said it was
Just so
valued.
you know, it's a rigged deal. My financial statements are much lower than the actual net worth. This judge and your fake attorney general of New York, who's driving business out, who's letting.
He's talking about Mrs. I believe James, Letitia James, if I'm saying that name correct.
Murderers run all over the city. They don't do anything to murderers that are running all over the city. The attorney general is a racist, Letitia James.
Right. You notice all the black people who were bringing charges against him, who were lawyers or attorney generals or district attorneys. You notice the minute black people were bringing charges against him, he tries to play the reverse racism. What racism is involved in Trump being charged for criminal activity that he engaged in? So now if you're a black person and you bring charges against him under the law, he goes to the, oh, it's racism, it's reverse racism. Donald Trump hasn't been a victim of racism. This man has had a silver spoon in his mouth since day one. He's a trust fund baby. Donald Trump has had an easy life all his life. He hasn't gone through any struggle. But he uses the word of racism. That's the game that he plays, the reverse racism card that doesn't stick. Every black person who confronted Trump, he wants to call them a racist. Or he calls them nasty or something of that nature. He really wants to call them an N-word. That's really wants. So he uses other words to make up for the words that he really wants to call them. So y'all didn't see how this man has disrespected. So when that young lady, Rachel Scott, said what she said about this man, instead of y'all criticizing her, once y'all look into what she was saying as whether it was facts or not, because I got all the damn receipts. Everything that she said was a fact. Why wouldn't y'all not support any black person who's telling the truth about somebody?
Tell the truth.
But because y'all caught up in personality, the culted personality of Donald Trump, because y'all like the man and you're caught up in his personality, you let his personality and the fact that you like him because you grew up watching him on the lifestyles of the rich and famous. You like watching his show on NBC, The Apprentice. You are caught up in his celebrity, that his celebrity blinds you from the reality of his bullshit and the reality of how he has treated people in general across the board, and particularly how he treats black folks in the media that are challenging him with truth.
Tell the truth.
Not lies, but truth. But y'all don't want to argue. Y'all don't want to debate or argue or research and say, is what the sister said to him a lie or is it the truth? Because she's the media. She's a journalist. She wouldn't be doing her job as a journalist if she did not bring up those factors, considering that he came there to pander to black folks, to get black folks to vote for him. So why shouldn't black media members, why shouldn't they be able to ask the question about some of his past transactions in which he has disrespected those in the black media, yet he comes to a forum where you have all black media people, and this man has disrespected media members across the board and disrespected black members of the media. Y'all okay with that? I'm not okay with that. I wouldn't be okay with anybody doing that. I don't care if it's Bill Clinton himself, Joe Biden. I wouldn't accept Kamala Harris coming there and disrespecting them. Like, I wouldn't. If they were to question their records, they have every right to do so. Because now you're in their play. You're in their territory. You're on their turf. See, Donald Trump, he likes to control the narratives wherever he goes. And when you ask him legitimate questions about legitimate shit that he's done, now he gets hostile and say that you're nasty, that you're the fake news. That's his coping mechanism because he can't handle the truth. And he can't handle the facts of his record. Let's go back over here again.
Attack black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist. So
let's stop that right there. He's had dinner with a white supremacist. He's called, you want to know who he's had dinner with, a white supremacist? Nick Fuentes. Oh, let's play it for you. He had dinner. How many of y'all remember that? Donald Trump has been cozying up to people who subscribe to white supremacists. If this man's not a racist, if this man is not a supporter of racism, why would he be kicking it and having dinner with someone like Nick Fuentes or even a Richard Spencer? Why? If that's something that he's against, a person who's not a racist would not entertain dinner or conversation with people who represent racism, who rock with other white supremacists. Why would he do that? Have y'all forgotten that Trump did that? Do I need to remind y'all folks? Let me go ahead and do that. Let's remind you. Let's remind you right now. Here we go.
Right, Alicia. I think everybody can make their own judgment about Donald Trump, the man, and what's in his heart. But what we do know is there's a pattern of giving aid and comfort to racist, to anti-Semitic individuals, to bigots. And that's true at Mar-a-Lago just this week. I think, look, we're overlooking the fact that he also had dinner with Kanye coming out of the last 4 to 6 weeks. This has not been a good moment for Kanye's personal convictions either. So for Donald Trump to plead ignorance just simply doesn't make any sense whatsoever. There is a pattern of this that was affirmed. The bigger question, does it matter for Republicans? I think the silence is fairly interesting. Mm-hmm. Look, you've got a whole bunch of Republicans hoping that this is the end of Donald Trump, but they're not willing to be the ones to place their bet on that. So if Donald Trump emerges in the Republican primary as the front runner, expect them all to get right back behind him like they did 4 years ago.
Juanita, your thought on this guest list?
Look, it's no surprise. Trump ran on white supremacy and anti-Semitism and bigotry in 2016 and 2020, and that's clearly the plan in 2024 as he unites anti-Semites and white supremacists at Mar-a-Lago. It's disgusting, but it's par for the course. What's also par for the course?
Trump dines with notorious white supremacist Nick Fuentes. And he's also cozy up to others as well. Oh, yeah.
That David mentioned was the fact that Republicans haven't said anything. And honestly, everybody who had smoke for Trump after they lost their races through him and his handpicked candidates needs to speak up, because ultimately they're showing that they have no backbones. They're showing that they're still cowards. They're showing that they will still cower to Trump in 2024. So whatever that pipe dream of Republicans turning on Trump, kiss it goodbye. They're showing yet again they're sticking with him by not calling him out. And honestly, this is dangerous and it's only going to continue to escalate. So I appreciate you showing that tweet from Representative Torres, because he knows what's up. He's calling it out for what it is. Not only is Trump using these people as his closest advisors when everybody else seems to be abandoning him, but he is who he plans to lean on, especially when he tries to appeal to his white supremacist, racist base.
My question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Right. Now, when she makes that statement to him about why black people should trust him after he has made nasty statements about black people in the press, he's got white supremacists that he's having dinner with, that he's cozying up to. He's got white supremacist organizations that have supported him that he has yet to denounce and say to them on the record, I do not want your support. And then he talks to people in the press who are well respected, like April Ryan. Do you know that April Ryan is an award recipient of the National Association of Black Journalists? She just won that award, I think, a year ago. She's well decorated, well respected, but look at what he has done. This is another example of what Rachel Scott was saying about how he has talked nasty to Abby Phillips, who you see on CNN. He's made nasty statements towards her. He has disrespected April Ryan, who is highly qualified, highly educated, well-known journalist. She has been a part of the White House press. He has disrespected her in press conferences that they've had, talked to her nasty, called her lazy, dumb, or whatever. He has said nasty things to even Abby Phillips. I don't care. Once again, you may not like these individuals. You may not like these people that's in mainstream media, but it's the fact that Trump has a continued pattern of disrespecting black folks and doing it very publicly. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Like I said, I come with the receipts.
I want to switch gears on April. I want to play a clip, what the president had to say about you, which was awful, and what the president also had to say about our own White House correspondent, Abby Phillip, which was also terrible. Listen to this.
Same thing with April.
You're absolutely right. He is a failure in business. How do you bankrupt a casino? I'm going to tell you why he literally bankrupted the casino because he couldn't manage it right. And he was getting upset and he was attacking Native Americans because the Native American casinos were his competition and they were kicking his ass. I've got footage of his bullshit around that issue too. So don't tell me that this man doesn't have racial issues when he does. Here is another, like I said, here's a receipt where he's disrespecting April Ryan as well as Abby. Check this out again.
Also had to say about our own White House correspondent, Abby Phillip, which was also terrible. Listen to this.
Same thing with April Ryan. I watch her get up. I mean, you talk about somebody that's a loser. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing. She gets publicity.
You see what he's doing? He is now I know that Trump talks about people in the media across the board, but he particularly goes in strong when he's talking about black people in the press, particularly black women that are part of the press corps at the White House, and she's been a part of that through many other presidents. And she has never been talked about in the way that Trump talked about her by any other president. Matter of fact, April Ryan is very well respected within journalism and with the press corps. This man talked about her like she wasn't a child of God. I mean, listen the way he talked about her. You guys accept this? Who accepts this? He's talking about this black woman like this, a black woman who was professional. And you know why he said this about her? Because she asked him a legitimate question about what? Voter suppression. Because during that time, there was a lot of voter suppression going on. She asked him a legitimate question about that, and he goes off on her in that way. Because he doesn't respect, 1, women, 2, he doesn't respect black women, and 3, he don't respect black people. You got Negroes like Tim Scott. All these black Republicans kissing his ass, and he didn't pick none of them to be a vice president, but he picked J.D. Vance, a man who has woo.
Also had to say about our own White House correspondent, Abby Phillip, which was also terrible. Listen to this.
Same thing with April Ryan. I watch her get up. I mean, you talk about somebody that's a loser. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing. She gets publicity, and then she gets a pay raise or she gets a contract.
Look at how he's talking about this woman. You've never seen any president talk about somebody like this in the press corps. Look at how he's taking digs at her in this manner. Y'all accept that? This is a dude that y'all want to rock with. This is a dude that y'all supporting. I know Joe Biden is, I know people don't like Kamala Harris. I get it. If you don't want to vote, I'm not telling people who to vote for, but I'm just saying I don't get why black people, especially on social media, why y'all so in love with this dude. Look how he's talking about people who look just like you. No other president has ever done this, whether he be Republican or Democrat. No one. And April Ryan has a very outstanding background in journalism and has always been well respected in the press corps. And this man talked about her like this. He really wants to call her the N-word, y'all.
With, I think, CNN, but she's very nasty.
He likes to use the word nasty a lot.
And she shouldn't be.
Do you want him to rein in Robert Mueller?
That's Abby talking to him. That's the sister right here. And look what he's going to say to her.
What a stupid question.
So this sister asked him a question. He says it's a stupid question. Let's play that back.
And she shouldn't be.
Do you want him to rein in?
He says, Abby Phillip says, do you want him to rein in Robert Mueller? Because remember, this is during the time when he was also, there was a special counsel, Robert Mueller, looking over some of the shady shit that Trump's been doing. Abby Phillips asked a legitimate question. He didn't like it. He doesn't like questions that caused him to have to confront the shit that he does. So whenever you ask him a legitimate question about his fuckery, then he'll turn around and say you're stupid. But he does this mainly to black women in the press. That's what I've been noticing. It's a pattern, y'all.
Robert Mueller?
What a stupid question that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
Yeah, that was his exchange with Abby Phillip, and she does not ask a lot of stupid questions, and she's certainly not stupid. She's an honest, excellent journalist who works for us,
yes, she
covering the White House.
Now, fierce for reading, he will do something. Let me ask you a question about the border. See, everybody talks about the border. How many of y'all live in California? Everybody keep talking about the damn border. How many of y'all live in California? The damn border ain't never been secure. It wasn't secure. Even when Trump was in the White House, people were still coming over the border. Do y'all know? See, from some of y'all who don't live in the, if you live in the West Coast, let me know. But how many of y'all know that you got tunnels? Everybody got caught up in this whole wall shit. You got tunnels where they can walk underneath the ground into places like Arizona, California. The tunnels, the walls don't stop nobody. See, if you live in the East Coast and the South and y'all don't live in any border states, California is a border state, right? New Mexico's a border state, Arizona. We know what's going on better than anybody because we live in these environments. It don't matter if he put a wall up. People can still get in through underground tunnels. They've been doing it for years. The damn cartels.
Information is power.
How you think the cartels been bringing drugs into America? They bring them in through underground tunnels. The immigration problem in this country has been bad for a long time. But did y'all forget something? Joe Biden's administration, they were using a immigration policy that a Republican came up with. And Donald Trump told them not to put it into law. The Democrats, the Democrats, and the Republican clan came together with a plan that the Republicans actually agreed with in terms of how to deal with the border within Joe Biden's presidency. Donald Trump told them, because he wanted to use it as a political advantage. He told the Republicans, because he runs it, not to pass that into a law, because he didn't want Joe Biden or anybody in his administration to get any shine off of a bipartisan bill that would have been passed. But Donald Trump told them, don't do it, because he wants to use it as part of his leverage politically. How many of y'all know that? How many of y'all have researched that? I hear what you're saying, sister. I do. I know that Donald Trump deported a lot of people, but guess what? Let me tell you something that y'all didn't know. Do you know that Obama actually has the higher number? Do your research. Obama has deported more people from across the border than any president in history. He's deported more people than even Donald Trump. How many of y'all know that?
Tell the truth.
How many of y'all know that? That's the one thing that some liberals don't like, that he deported a lot of people. How many of y'all know that Obama is actually the deportation president? How many of y'all know that? Put sevens in the chat room if y'all know that. The Grade Pill podcast says true. Thank you, Sister Fierce. I hear what you're saying, my sister. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of people don't know that it's Obama has the highest record when it comes to deportation, not Donald Trump. But y'all never gave so black folks that sing the praises, black people who sing the praises of Donald Trump, a lot of y'all don't even realize that when Obama was in office, he deported more people. But we never gave him any credit for it. We never gave him any praise, but we praised the white boy because we see the white man's ice is colder than the black man's ice. We got this love affair with white society that we still can't shake ourselves from. And Donald Trump represents that. We still looking at him like he's the master on the plantation mentality that we still have. Malcolm X has talked about these things, and we still got that mentality. CB, what's going on? So Sir Biden deported more people. Let's see. Let's do a fact check. What did I just say, sir? Prior to Donald Trump, it was Obama who deported more people. So if Biden deported more people, then why are we saying that? So you're making my argument here. So then why do people think that Donald Trump is better when it comes to the border? If you said that Joe Biden deported more people than anybody, and let me look at the numbers. Let's look at the numbers. Let's look it up. Who deported more people in presidency? Nope, it's Obama. Like I said, sir, Obama has deported more people than any president. I know what the hell I'm talking about. Don't mess around with me, sir. It's right here on this article. You can look this up. ABC News. Obama has deported more people than any other president. Obama has deported more people than any. Says right here, Donald Trump's immigration plan is set to be announced later this week. And if previous comments are any indication, the Republican president contends said he plans to focus on deporting criminals, which, yeah, we want criminals out of here. right? The current strategy of Obama's administration. On day one, I am going to begin swiftly deporting people. Guess what? Obama basically deported more people. How many people have been deported under Obama? Between 2009 and 2015, his administration has removed more than 2.5 million people through immigration orders. That's more than Donald Trump, y'all.
Tell the truth.
Now, let's see how many people did Joe Biden deport. Let's see. How many people did Joe Biden deport under his administration? Now, maybe you're right, sir. Let's see. Okay, under Joe Biden, you had 1.1 million deportations. So, like I said again, don't play around with me. Like I said before, it goes to Obama. It goes to Obama. So Obama is the deportation champion. He's the deportation champion. He says Biden deported more people than Trump. Right. But I'm talking about right. He deported more people than Trump. A lot of people don't realize that. But Obama has deported more than all of them. So I'm just saying that for those of y'all running around here on the YouTube street talking about, oh, Donald Trump deported more than anybody. No, he didn't. So let's get back over here. So I just wanted to play that. Now check this out. April Ryan said this when Donald Trump was talking crap about her. And I want y'all to hear this too right here. Check it out, y'all.
I guess at this point I'm numb to it. It's been 2 years of the same thing, but now it's open. It's openly said by the President of the United States. There's been efforts to silence me in the briefing room.
Joe Biden deported 1.1 million people. And I believe Obama, and I looked it up, deported something like 2 million people. He had the highest number. Let me see if I can go right back to that again. And let's go right back to that, President. Let's go right back to it. Obama. I'm going to give you the numbers again. You asked a very legitimate question. Obama deported between 2009 and 2015. He deported 2.5 million people. So that's more than Joe Biden. And the gentleman in the chat room said that Joe Biden has actually deported more people than even Trump. And the reason why I bring this up, because everybody keeps focusing on the fact that, well, we got to get Trump in office because Trump, he's going to get more people out of here. Trump didn't get more people out of here than freaking. Let's look it up. Let's see how many people did Trump get out of here. Maybe we're wrong. Let's see. Let's look that up too. How many people did Trump deport? Let's see. Maybe we're wrong. I'm looking at the numbers. He increased immigration enforcement. He definitely did that. He put out 400. Let me see. Increasing immigration enforcement was stated policy goals of Trump administration. Over the course of 4 years, policy changes ranging from less notable technical adjustments to over 400 executive actions. He returned to the levels at the end of George W. Bush's administration, Obama's years. Okay, now, there was 11 million undocumented immigrants who lived in the United States. The border enforcement statistics often have less to do with the policy decision, instead can be reflected in changes in migration flows. The number of interior deportations fell from over 200,000 annually between 2008 and 11. When Obama came in, he increased that. The latest number available, never to exceed 100,000. See the chart, given the long backlog in the process. So let me see. United States awaits an immigration hearing as well as asylum seekers awaiting a decision through most of the 1.2 million unauthorized residents. Let me see, though. This is important. How many people did Donald Trump deport when he was president? Isn't that weird how the numbers don't come up that fast for Trump? I'll have to do a deep dive. The numbers don't really come up for him like that. It don't come up like it do for everybody else. Interesting. It comes up, but it doesn't really give you a direct. That's what I'm looking for. Anyway, I'm going to get back to where we are on the show. But according to the stats, Obama actually has the highest number. Let me see. Okay, now, Donald Trump, his plan was to deport 15 to 20 million people. But what did he really deport? How many did he really deport? And I'll look into that. See, it still doesn't give the raw number. Why? That's weird, y'all. All right, I'm going to do some more research on that. But let's get back to the program and where we are. Let's hear April Ryan talk about how Donald Trump disrespected her. Go right ahead.
There have been efforts to discredit me. But, you know, who I've been and who I am is who you know. I'm an open book. Anyone who knows me knows me. And what you see is what you get from me. But the president called me a loser. I'm not. And I'm someone like many, to include Abby Phillip. We follow the U.S. Constitution. We have the utmost respect and reverence for the highest office in the land. It's sacred. The president is right. There is sanctity there. And one of the reasons is because life and death is in the tongue and in the pen there. This is a serious space and place. And we take our job seriously. And we have been. I mean, Abby's been there for many years, and I have been too. And I've covered the White House with you and many others who understand the seriousness of this place and the office holder. There is reverence for that office as well. And to be called a loser by the President of the United States, I think back about the First Amendment of the Constitution, freedom of the press. He is challenging the Constitution when he says that. And that's his personal opinion. That's fine. But I also think about me being a loser today, but last year in January, was I a loser when he asked me to get together the Congressional Black Caucus with him for a meeting? He thought I had enough gravitas then and enough seriousness.
You can't be an immigrant in your own land. To answer your question, if you're in your own land, you can't be.
For me to do that. So was I a loser today and yesterday, or just a loser today? Because I tried to ask a question about a serious issue, voter suppression, and he responded.
Didn't I tell you she asked a question about voter suppression and Donald Trump went off on her? He's a crazy dude. He's crazy. And this is somebody that's been disrespecting our people for a minute now. Let's hear the rest.
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network.
See? That's what he goes to, the same old talk, fake news. See?
And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country.
That's a lie, y'all. Check this out. I'm going to play this video for you next. See, I'm I'm doing something that most people not doing. I'm making the argument for what the sister said to him as being factual. He says he loves the black community. Why didn't he do anything for the black community when Baltimore, Maryland was going through some things and they were asking for Donald Trump's help? And he claimed when he got the nomination, when he became president, that he was going to do so many things for Detroit and place for the inner cities. And when the inner city like Baltimore was having some issues, he didn't do shit for them. And guess who's from Baltimore? April Ryan. I want y'all to see this. Donald Trump don't give a damn. He doesn't give a damn. He just uses us. But when he's in office, he don't do nothing for us. Larry, Anything Goes LLC. Thank you for that, brother.
Thank you for the super chat.
So he's claiming that he loves black people. He's done so much for black people. I want y'all to hear this. Check this out.
You were born, yes, more connection, Victor.
Yeah.
You know, I lived in Northeast Baltimore
April
and
Ryan.
Northwest Baltimore growing up. Attended school at Morgan State University in Baltimore City. I'm still in Baltimore, in the Baltimore area. I, as a child, used to frequent the area where there was that standoff with police and the community on North and Penn, you know, after the Freddie Gray death. You know, I know Baltimore from the top to the bottom, from the upper income to the low income. Baltimore is a community. It's a community of communities. It's a city that, yes, is made up of survivors. It's pockets of poverty, pockets of wealth, but people. What I don't understand, like Detroit, Baltimore is like Detroit, like Flint, we need help. After Beth Steele left, there was a massive blight in Baltimore. You know, in Detroit, here where we are right now, Detroit is on the upswing, but there's a problem too because these auto manufacturers are having problems with the president's tariffs. This is a city that...
You guys think that Donald Trump is such a great businessman. The auto industry, which Obama, whether you like him or not, Obama saved the audio. Remember when Obama took over, the audio industry was in the tank. A lot of Republicans were saying, a lot of people were saying, just let it tank. Obama brought the auto industry back to life. Y'all forget that. Donald Trump, who you think is a great businessman with his tariffs, he was hurting the auto industry, which was hurting these urban areas that rely on industrial factories and work where black people lived. Baltimore is one of them. And y'all running around here telling me, oh, Donald Trump is good. He's a businessman. He's a terrible businessman. The man has, what, over 30 some more bankruptcies. He's not a good businessman. His tariffs and all the stuff that they've already had a report. They've already had an economy report from the business that said that they think that whether you like her or not doesn't matter to me. But they're already saying in Wall Street in business that they think that Kamala Harris will be better for business right now than Donald Trump. I didn't make this up. That came from the economists. That came from Wall Street. That came from the businessmen on Wall Street. Because they know that Donald Trump talking all that stuff about how he's going to put tariffs on this, and they know it's going to ruin business. Listen to this again.
Detroit is on the upswing, but there's a problem too because these auto manufacturers are having problems with the president's tariffs. This is a city that's struggling. Baltimore.
Auto manufacturers are having problems with Donald Trump's tariffs at that time when he was president. That means who loses? Black people in those jobs, poor people who are working those jobs. And I'm telling you, it's crazy how people think that this man, that's the magic of a con man. They can make you think that they could take a rabbit out of a hat when they didn't take shit out of their hat, but they can fool you.
It's a city that's struggling. And if you are a leader You always remember this. Power means service. So, Mr. President, where's your service to a city that's looking to you for help? It's not just about Elijah Cummings. It's not just about the mayor of Baltimore. It's about you as the leader to say, when I look down, I want to pick you up.
Now, we know that Baltimore and many of these urban cities and centers, we know that they have problems. We know that they're poorly ran and operated. And we know that the Democrats are also the blame for the problems in some of these urban cities where you've got these Democratic mayors and Democrats. Look at Chicago, right? We got examples where Democrats have actually effed up in the way they are running and operating the city. That's a fact. I'm not going to sit up here and deny that. But also during this period of time, Baltimore and cities like Baltimore were asking Donald Trump as president supposed to be the president of the United States. And aren't these cities and counties and states part of the United States? When they were asking for help, he left them for dead.
Instead of laughing and talking about being infested.
Right. Donald Trump was laughing and making really disrespectful gestures about urban settings where black people live, like places like Baltimore. Yes, these cities have problems. Yes, they have problems. But guess what? You've got problems in Republican-run states. Should I say, Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, where they had the water crisis, right? You've got states that are run by Republicans at the top level, such as governors that run southern states that are in bad shape, like Alabama. So Republicans put states into screw up too when they're running cities and running states. Both these parties screw stuff up. All you got to do is do your research and look at some of these southern states and who actually is in charge of them. A lot of them are run by Republicans, and look at the problems in these states. And why are the Republicans, why they're not fixing it?
How dare he?
And you know,
we are people.
And that's where I want to pick up, Paul. And SOT 2, soundbite 2, control room. Let's switch the order here. This is what the president said, and he mentioned the city of Baltimore when he accepted the nomination to be president. This is 2016. Let's watch and listen.
When I am president, I will work to ensure that all of our kids are treated equally and protected equally. Every action I take, I will ask myself, does this make better for young Americans in Baltimore, in Chicago, in Detroit, in Ferguson?
Trump said all these things about what he was going to do for these urban settings. He didn't do shit for these urban settings. Matter of fact, he criticized them just like he did Baltimore. Did y'all forget about that? Did y'all forget about it?
Who have really, in every way, folks, the same right to live out their dreams as any other child.
Now, he's right about what he's saying here, but guess what? In his presidency, he didn't live up to any of those things that he was talking about, that he said he was going to do for the urban cities. He didn't do anything.
In America.
Okay.
Paul, what was so striking about the tweet, well, one of the things was that it seemed not to find common cause in helping the people of Baltimore. Those are your people. That's your responsibility, as if Maryland is not one of the United States of America and Baltimore is not a city in that state.
All right, y'all. Crazy. Now, Donald Trump told you when he went to the National Black Association of Journalists that he's done so much for black people. Well, let's check it out. Let's examine the truth from the lies. Remember, he likes to tout the opportunity zones. Every Negro on YouTube kept talking about opportunity zone. He giving us opportunity zones. Read these articles. These are articles. You can look them up for yourself. Opportunity zones fall short on helping low-income communities. Studies found key points. A key White House program to reduce racial inequality has benefited big real estate has benefited more from opportunity zones than the average black man and woman. Okay, right? Check this out. Big real estate projects more than minority-owned businesses, study finds. The Opportunity Zone plan was part of a 2017 tax cut and has attached over $10 billion in investment. But check this out. Here's another headline. You might want to look at this article right here. Black businesses largely missed out on Opportunity Zone money. Check this out. Let me read this to you. President Donald Trump says that the Opportunity Zone tax breaks signed into law in 2017 has created tens of thousands of jobs and is helping minority communities and black business owners. In a tweet earlier this month, this is from Trump, he pointed to Opportunity Zones as proof that he's done more for the black community than any president since Abraham Lincoln. That's a lie. If you go online and you say, if you go on Google and you look for data to prove it out, there is no data. There is no raw numbers. I tried it. I go on there and I say statistics, data, meaning what? Data that shows how many black people have actually benefited from Opportunity Zones. You can't find the damn data. There's no raw data to show it's benefiting who it's supposed to benefit. But it is benefiting big real estate, that's for sure. Let's put this back up here again. And he's done more for us than Lincoln. The hell with Abraham Lincoln. Did y'all know that Abraham Lincoln was a supporter of the runaway slave laws? So when slaves would run away, he was in support of it. He just didn't want the slave system to spread all over the country. He wanted to control what the South was doing. But even though people believe he's freed some black people in the South, places like Texas, a lot of people don't even know that Abraham Lincoln was a supporter of provisions of runaway slave provisions that he supported to allow them to still go after runaway black people that ran away. Did y'all know that? Check this out. There's no way to prove that the tax breaks for wealthy investors who buy a stake in businesses or property in the zones has created jobs or helped minority business owner, because there ain't no data, y'all. The federal government does not collect information on projects attracting investments in more than 8,700 zones, leaving policymakers and advocate groups to rely on what? Anecdotal or self-reporting. So all of it is anecdotal, y'all. But critics have long said that the tax breaks, which encourage building and designed low-income communities, may end up accelerating gentrification that is unlikely to help black business owners. So basically what's happening is, and nobody wants to deal with this, is that Donald Trump's Opportunity Zones also have created a situation in which black communities have been gentrified. So black business owners are the ones losing out, because if you got a black business that caters to black people, you just now lost your base, because people can't afford to live in the community and they're moving out. So like I said, it's all anecdotal. So anybody that tells you, well, the Opportunity Zones have benefited black people, they're going on their own anecdotal experience, meaning they might be benefiting if they got the money and the capital to open up a business, but there is no stats, there is no data that says how many black people have truly benefited in Donald Trump's Opportunity Zones across the board. Why can't Donald Trump himself, why can't his administration quote us data? Because they don't have none. You know why? Because They don't collect it based on some real estate people coming in and developing, but there is no data because there is none. It is not hell. It's only benefited a small fraction of black people who already had the capital to go into business. If you want to go deeper into this article, it's called this: Black businesses largely missed out on opportunity zone money. Why is that, Donald Trump? You said you love black people and you've helped black people so much. Opportunity zones fall short on helping low-income communities. Studies find. Look that one up too, and see what you can get from that. Okay. Now, remember, this is a black woman that Donald Trump does not like. Can't stand her because why? She's a woman who has authority, a woman who is she's a district attorney of New York. And once again, he said that she's a nasty woman, that she's a criminal, that she's a racist. But check her out right here. She's breaking down the criminal Trump, the criminal himself. Check this out, y'all.
Is that this trial has shown, and we have produced evidence about the scope, the scale, the depth, the breadth of the illegality, the fraud that personally enriched Donald Trump and his family.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank the judge. I want to thank my team. I even want to thank opposing counsel. But at the end of the day, the point is simple. No matter how powerful you are, no matter how rich you are, that no one is above the law, and that the law applies to all of us equally and fairly. I trust that justice will be done, and I'm confident in that.
Including employment, including opportunity zones with.
I just went over the opportunity zones with already. Why is it that Donald Trump can't give you any data? It's all just.
Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs, done so much. And, and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Now, this is the one I've been waiting for all night. This is the one I've been waiting for. Donald Trump's a damn lie. He did not save black colleges. He's a lie. I'll tell you who saved black colleges. I'm going to put her up right here. She's responsible. This is what Donald Trump basically did. The money was already put in motion by those in Congress. Black people had already put this money together. They had already generated. Most of the money comes from the Department of Education, which under Project 2025, I know they claim they shut it down. They wanted to get rid of, under Project 2025, they want to get rid of the Department of Education. But I'm here to tell you that money was already being put together and generated and prepared. This whole thing about the money for HBCUs, it was already being prepared by black Congress people. All Donald Trump did as an executor, as a president, was simply sign documents. But the monies that he came up, he didn't come up with the numbers. He didn't do the math. This was already done. He's trying to take credit for what black people put together, particularly a black woman. This woman right here. Who is this woman? Who is this sister? This sister is Representative Adams Amos. This sister is a representative. She's a Democrat. She put this together. This is, and I'm going to put this on the screen right here. This is Representative Adams, Sister Adams. She's the one that Donald Trump has piggybacked off of, right? we know about history. Black people invent something and then white people steal the invention. Remember, I've said this, you guys know this already. Black people have invented many things where they could not get a patent. And then a white person that can get the patent ends up stealing the idea and getting rich off of it. Donald Trump did the same thing. The black woman and those congressmen involved in this bill, they put it all together. They invented it, and then Donald Trump comes in like many of his ancestors and steal the invention and try to take credit for something that he didn't put together. This bill is under her damn name. She's the one that made sure that these black colleges are getting the money that they're supposed to get. She's the one that came up with the budget and the analyzation of it all, the processing of it all, understanding what these schools need. Donald Trump just put his face on it and put the what did he do? He did the photo op, and he said, hey, and the Negroes ran with this all over YouTube. Y'all ran with it, and you ran back to your YouTube channels, you get on panels, and you keep saying that Donald Trump, he must not be racist because it wasn't Donald Trump who put in the work to put this together. It was black people, particularly a black representative, this black woman right here. Huh? Here's the bill right here. If you want to do the research, look up HR. Donald Trump didn't put this together. Look up HR 5363, Future Act. Representative Adams, Democrat, introduced on 12/09/2019. Committee, House Education and Labor. The latest action, 12/19/2019, became public law number 11691. All action. Roll call vote. There has been a roll call. So they had to vote on this. Donald Trump didn't have a damn thing to do with putting together a package to give HBCU schools money. This was put together by this sister right here. Y'all should be giving her credit, not Donald Trump. Not Donald Trump, the black woman. See, what I've been saying this. Black people create something, and then you get white folks like Donald Trump who comes in and tries to steal the damn invention, right? After winning a special election in November 2014, Congresswoman Amos S. Adams, PhD, she's a PhD. She was sworn in immediately after the 100 women elected to the 113th Congress. Congresswoman Adams was elected to her 5th full term representing the 12th Congressional District of North Carolina, November 8, 2022. Representative Adams serves on the Committee of Education and Workforce, right? And the committees on agriculture. She holds several leadership roles as an assistant whip for Democratic caucus, ranking member of the Committee on Education and Labor, subcommittees on workforce protection, okay? She has previously served on multiple committees, including the House Committee on Finances. So she did the damn finances on this. Donald Trump didn't have nothing to do with this shit. He just simply used this as a way to make it look like he was doing something for black folks, something that he never put together, a budget that was already put in place for black colleges to get, and then he lied. Y'all run around on YouTube talking about he gave black people more money than Obama, which was not true. If anybody was to give them more money, it was this black woman I'm talking about right here who put it together. Donald Trump simply signed, and then he used those black presidents of those HBCUs. He used them as a photo op. Check this out. She has previously served as multiple committees, including the House Committee on Finance Services, House Committee on Small Businesses. Her signature legislation accomplishment in Congress is enacting the HR 5363 bill that fosters undergrad talent by unlocking resources for education, Future Acts, which permanently y'all think that Donald Trump is the one who made it possible for historical black colleges to have permanent money. It was Sister Adams who put it together. He simply stole the invention. He simply took an idea that a black woman put together as a bill, got it passed, he signed it, and then lied to all of you and told you that it was his shit. And y'all brought it, y'all got food because y'all think the white man's ice is colder than the black man's ice. Y'all went for his con game, hook, ladder, and sinker, because he's been a con man from New York for years. He didn't fool me, but he fooled a lot of black folks out here that's been running at the mouth about how Donald Trump has done so much for black colleges when it wasn't Donald Trump. Why don't y'all give respect to who really put it together? This black woman right here, Democratic representative from North Carolina, Mrs. Adams. And it was it was H.R. 5363. Why don't y'all look it up and learn something today? Learn something today. H.R. 5363, Future Act. She's the one that came up with it. It's her doing, not Donald Trump. He signed it. He signed something that was already put in place that the black colleges were gonna get, whether his ass was in office or not. It would have been signed by another damn president, or it would have been signed by another person. He just happened to be in office when the shit was already being put in motion prior to him. This is the damn truth.
Tell the truth.
Why don't y'all learn something? Stop running around talking about Donald Trump. And to add more crescendo to it, let me play a clip from Roland Martin, who reinforces what I'm talking about. Say what you will about Roland Martin. You can hate him or love him, but what he had to say about what I just talked about is a fact. So let's go back into the reaction studio here, and let's go right to it right now, y'all. Check this out. Check this out. The man's been lying. I told you he's a liar. Donald Trump, you can't trust him. He's a liar. And it's funny how I was on a panel not too long ago when I had some fool that debating me about this, and I knew what the hell I was talking about. Donald Trump didn't create it. It was y'all kept talking about he made it permanent. It was a black woman, Miss Representative, Democrat from North Carolina, Miss Robinson. Y'all see, why don't y'all give black people credit when they do something that's benefiting our people? When all y'all that claim that y'all want to see HBCUs, everybody was praising Donald Trump for giving HBCUs this money when he's not the one who's responsible for it. It's this black woman right here. But y'all go with the man who stole the invention. This is the same type of shit that happened to black people back in the day when they would create an invention, and then they couldn't get a patent for it, so the white man would put his name on the patent to put the name on the patent so that the black man or black woman's invention could be patent, and then eventually the white man would take credit for it and tell you that he created it. Same damn thing that Donald Trump did, and y'all went for it, hook and sinker. He conned you. He didn't con me, but he conned a lot of y'all on YouTube and social media that's been busting y'all gums for a number of years about Donald Trump did this for black colleges. Y'all are fools. And here go some more proof in the pudding to shut your mouths up some more. Some people shouldn't be allowed to have a microphone to say any damn thing on YouTube when they don't do no damn research to back up their points. But I always bring the receipts. Here we go, y'all. Check it out.
I funded the colleges and black colleges and universities. Nobody else did that. Nobody else even thought of it. And
once again, that's a lie, a dirty, dirty lie. What did the Native Americans say about the Europeans when they encountered them? They said that the pale faces speak with forked tongue. Let's go back and let you hear that again. They said that they speak The pale faces speak with forked tongue. That's what they said, a forked tongue.
I funded the colleges and black colleges and universities. Nobody else did that. Nobody else even thought of it. And what
he just lied. He just lied and said that he funded the black colleges and nobody ever thought of it. What the hell is he talking about? They've been funding black colleges since the 1960s. What the hell is he talking about? This black woman right here is behind Bill HR 5363, Future Act. What is he talking about? You see how he lies? This is the person that y'all want to go to bat for? Y'all want to be passionate? Man.
Kimbrough put this tweet out. It's past time for all HBCU supporters to push back on this narrative. HBCUs have received federal funding since 1966.
Didn't I tell y'all that they've been getting money since the 60s? Donald Trump sat up there and lied to you.
This is the graphic that Walter posted.
Boom. So here's a graphic right here that breaks down the monies that they've been getting going all the way back to 1960s.
This is Title III funding from 1966 through 1997. Y'all, these are the facts. Now, let me explain to y'all what you have going on here. The lie that Donald Trump keeps promoting. First, it was a $250 million program that first happened under President George W. Bush. It was continued under President Barack Obama. Actually, it expired. They actually reauthorized it. Now, it's a $250 million program. Now, here's what's interesting, folks. Again, people.
You hear what he just said? The program originally expired and they reactivated it. They reactivated it. It continued under Obama. And then it had to be reactivated. Check this out.
People don't want to deal with. Only about 90 million of that program goes to HBCUs. It is.
How many of y'all know that? That 90 million of that money goes to HBCUs. Now, let me put this back up here too. There was something else that I wanted to say about the sister that I was talking about the money that she. Let me go back to this. Here we go.
It's called the Future Act. The additional money goes to Hispanic serving institutions. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, the Trump folks zeroed the program out in their budget.
Boom. So the money is allocated to institutions where you have people of different ethnic groups. So HBCUs get money, and then institutions where you have a lot of people that are Hispanic. It could even be an institution that has a certain number of Hispanics in it that will get some money. This is all coming from the education budgeting committees. You just heard Roland Martin say that Donald Trump in his administration were trying to zero the program out, meaning they weren't going to continue it. But you goofy individuals out there that are riding on Donald Trump's penis, you haven't even done any damn research to know what you're talking about. Donald Trump originally wanted to zero the program out. Roland Martin has done the research, and say what you will about Roland Martin, old black media, whatever you want to call it. On this particular situation, he stands on strong ground of truth.
Only about 90 million of that program goes to HBCUs. It is called the Future Act. The additional money goes to Hispanic.
Brother, right, brother. All that money in the HBCUs are falling apart. They are still. We already know that there's been some stuff that's been going on in some of the schools that has been questionable. We know that. Let's continue. Good point. Good point.
Serving institutions. Okay. That's what it is. Okay. The Trump folks zeroed the program out in their budget.
Boom. Did you hear what Roland Martin just said? Originally, Trump in his administration zeroed the program out. This is for the idiots out there that say to me, hey, how could Donald Trump be racist when he gave black colleges all that money? How many of y'all knew that originally Donald Trump wasn't going to give black colleges shit?
Tell the truth.
That he was actually planning to zero the program out. And how many of y'all know that the money that was allocated, not black colleges don't get all of that hunk of money, because some of that money has to go to other schools where you have other people of other races. Now, you may not like what I'm saying about that part of it, but this is the truth. So when someone like Donald Trump lies to you and say, I gave black colleges all this, they didn't get all that money, because all that money is not allocated to just one group under the budget. Roland Martin just told you what they got.
Happened under President George W. Bush. It was continued under President Barack Obama.
So the money that black colleges got in the increase came from Bush, and then it was continued under Obama, even though some of y'all lied and say, oh, Obama, he didn't give the colleges nothing. No, it was continued under Obama, as he said.
Obama. Actually, it expired. They actually reauthorized.
Right. It expired under Obama when he came into office, and then they reauthorized it, as Roland Martin says. That's a fact.
Now, it's a $250 million program. Now, here's what's interesting.
$250 million program. And I thought I had a breakdown of this somewhere. I had a breakdown. I wanted to show you guys. Let me see. Maybe I got the numbers right. Let me see. Do I have the numbers right here? No, wait a minute. Do I have the numbers right there? No. Is the numbers on her bio? Is the numbers on her bio? Oh, there it is. Here it is right here. As I was reading, I had already read this. Okay. Under the Futures Act, which is permanently provides funding totaling $255 million a year for all minority serving institutions. It's not just black institutions, it's all minority, which is why Roland Martin said out of that 200, he said 250, but it's actually 255 million. Out of that 255 million, that includes 85 million goes to HBCUs. Now, personally, I think they deserve more than that. Way more than that. So I just want to clarify something there.
Thing, folks, again, people don't want to deal with. Only about 90 million of that program
it says 90 million,
goes to
million.
HBCUs. It is called the Future Act. The additional money goes to Hispanic serving institutions. Okay.
So anybody that said that Donald Trump gave black colleges $255 million, they don't know what they don't understand how the program works. HBCUs don't get a full $255 million. It's for all minority serving institutions.
That's
whether
what
you
it is.
agree with it or not.
Okay. The Trump folks zeroed the program out in their budget, meaning they ended it. It was Congresswoman Alma Adams, Congressman Bobby Scott,
Adams,
and Democrats who said, no, we putting this back in. Fought for.
This is Alma Adams, who I've been talking about. She's responsible, not Trump. Give the black woman credit. Don't give it to Trump. Stop saying that Trump.
For it. When it went over to the Senate, they filibustered it. Senator Lamar Alexander of Tennessee, and then Representative Adams, Representative Scott, and others were pressing them when the HBCU presidents had their meetings here in D.C. and when he brought them to the White House. Remember the whole photo?
Thank you, lady. Nora. Thank you, lady. I see you in there. I'm going to say it again. Give credit where credit is due, everybody. It was not Donald Trump. His administration was trying to zero it out. And then this black woman stepped in and saved the damn day to make it permanent, not Trump, through her bill that was passed, H.R. 5363. It's called Futures Act. Look it up. So all the black folks that's been talking that Donald Trump took care of black colleges crap, shut the F up. You don't know what you're talking about because you haven't done research. You just going with your emotional feelings because you like Trump. He was about to shut it down. It was a black woman who said, hell no, it's not going to be shut down. And then when it was passed into law, Trump realized that he could use it to make it look like he was doing something for black folks. That's when he had the brilliant idea to get all those historical black college presidents together, take that photo op to make you and me think that Donald Trump has saved the black colleges in America and given them permanent money so that they don't have to come back and ask for more every year when we could just make it permanent. No, it was Amana. It was Miss Adams. Miss Adams is the one that made it permanent. Under the H.R. 5363, Fostering Undergrad Talent by Unlocking Resources for Education Future Act, which is permanently provides funding totaling $255 million a year for all minority-serving institutions. Damn it.
They all standing behind him, and Kellyanne Conway with her little country ass, shoes off, knees all in the Oval Office couch on her phone. They said we need to push this particular bill. Then he goes, a win. A win. So, let me get involved in this. And so what he then did was he then tried to claim that he was the one who came up with it. It wouldn't have happened without him. So
Did you hear what Roland Martin is saying? He speaks the truth. I don't care whether you like Roland Martin or not. It doesn't change the fact that what he is saying is the truth.
Tell the truth.
I don't know what we are to do. Y'all, Anthony, go to my iPad. Y'all see this right here? HR 5363, who the sponsor is, right here. Committees, House Education and Labor, who's the chair of that subcommittee, Congressman Bobby Scott. Y'all, that's what happened. Donald Trump is lying. Tim Scott is lying. And anybody else who's out here talking about, how Trump was a savior to black people. And you notice they never, ever give a number. Donald Trump has done more fun. This is Tim.
He's absolutely right. Just like the opportunity zones, Donald Trump never gives you raw data to make his argument and to make his points facts based in data.
Yeah, Donald Trump funded black colleges more than anybody else. And you never hear Margaret Brennan. You don't even hear Abby Phillips. You don't hear any of these people saying, Senator, can you give me the number? Can you tell me how much HBCUs received in funding under the Trump administration? You never hear them ask that question because they're not well versed on these topics.
Well, there's a weird sort of agreement, too, of just not wanting to counter.
Now, when he talks about mainstream media like Abby Phillips, it's true. A lot of these black folks on mainstream media and these shows like CNN, they're not well versed when it comes to being able to talk about what HBCUs are going through or what they're getting in funding. They're not well versed. He makes a good point here.
These people or have sort of this sort of both sides thing that it's going on, where the media, instead of protecting the truth, lets these people say this stuff over and over again.
Because they don't know jack. Let's be real clear, Lauren. They don't know jack about HBCUs. They don't. Even the black people on mainstream television, they don't.
But really, also,
he's right. Roland Martin is 100% right. Let's just keep it real. You know he's telling the truth about what he is saying, what he is breaking down. A lot of folks don't know this. Now, let me put this clip up. This is Donald Trump as he's talking about the gaming casinos, the Indian gaming casinos. He was having quite an issue with Native American people who have the gaming casinos because I think he did not want to compete with them as his casino. He did a horrible job managing his own damn casino, in which his casino went out of business. So because he wasn't doing a good job managing his own casino, he tried to blame Native American people by questioning them whether they are Native American and why should they be able to do business. Check this out. Here is the first video clip of, well, before I go there, wait a minute. Before I go there, let's go back to this video clip here. I'm sorry. Let's go back to this one right here as he's saying how much he's done for black people.
And I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it.
See, he just lied to you. I gave HBCUs long-time financing, and nobody else was doing it. Listen.
Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs, done so much. And, you know, and I say this, historically, black colleges and universities were out of money. They were.
That's a lie.
Stone cold broke.
Stone cold broke. That's a lie.
And I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing.
No. Again, Mrs. Alma Adams gave them long-term financing. She's the one that put forth the bill, H.R. 5363 Future. It was her bill. She made it permanent, not Donald Trump. He's a effing liar, and the truth has never been in him. He's a effing liar. It's a black woman. When you get on these YouTube streets and you talk about HBCUs getting that extra money that Donald Trump's been lying about, it's Alma Adams, Representative Alma Adams from North Carolina. This black woman right here is the one that did it, not Donald Trump. But let's listen to some more of his lies.
And nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, you know, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be.
No, you were late because you did not want to be fact-checked. I read that. I did the research on that. You were giving them a hard time behind the curtains when they said that, sir, we want to be able to fact-check the things that you say, and you didn't want that to happen. National Association of Black Journalists over an hour late. He blamed the delay not on behind the scenes between the NABJ and his campaign about whether he could be fact-checked in real time. He did not want to be fact-checked in real time, y'all. That was the commotion that delayed everything behind the stage. That's what it was all about. Of course, he's not going to tell you the truth because Donald Trump is a liar, and he's always been a damn liar.
Late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was wrong.
Mr. President, I would love
I think
if
it's
you can answer
a
the
very
question
nasty
on your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe
answered
that
the
black voters
question.
should trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been
There
the
he
best
goes with his
president.
His accordion hands back and forth like an accordion. The dude is weird. He is weird. I will use that term on him. He's weird. And I'm gonna say this again. I'm not doing this video tonight because I'm a fan of the Democrats and I'm a fan of the Democrats and both the Republicans and Democratic parties have failed black people in so many ways.
For the black population since
For the black population.
Abraham Lincoln.
Since Abraham Lincoln, a man who was in favor of the Escape Slave Act.
That's my answer.
Better than President
That's
Johnson,
my
who signed the
answer.
Voting Rights
And
Act?
for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI?
Now, Donald Trump's going to show you how stupid he is when she already defined it. Listen.
Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay, yeah.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion is the definition. It is the textbook definition of DEI. But listen how dumb Donald Trump is.
Is that what your definition?
Give me
a definition then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that?
She just did, you dummy.
Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a very direct question.
Define it for me if you
I just defined it.
She just defined it for your dumb ass.
Sir, do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black. And
now, he used this term, turn black, and I think a lot of black folks within the halls there at this event, I think a lot of people didn't like that term that he said, turned black. You can't turn black. Donald Trump has a history of saying a lot of goofy shit. See, a lot of y'all forgot that Donald Trump is the same man who said he would never want a black person to be his accountant. He's weird. I mean, I know people have different opinions about Kamala Harris. Some people don't think she's black enough. Some people don't like her. They don't think she's genuine. Some people are going to support her. Some people are not going to support her. That's your business. Whatever you want to do that's your business. But what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the way he uses his language and the things that he says and the dog whistles that he puts out there. This man who has, who dines with racists like Nick Fuentes.
now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or?
Now she wants to be known as black. And look at his hands. It's like they got a video on YouTube. It's kind of funny where somebody puts a musical accordion in his hands. And every time he moves his hands, it's playing accordion music. It's hella funny, y'all. Y'all should check it out. Something is wrong with him. He's probably had this tic since he was a kid. He constantly keeps doing this accordion hand. Something's weird about the guy. All these politicians are weird in my opinion. They all got weirdness about them.
She black.
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that
I think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
I really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person.
So the woman that was on the panel was from Fox News, and a lot of people there never felt that she should have been on the stage because, remember, Fox News got sued a couple years ago for putting out lies and propaganda about the election being stolen. Remember, they got fined. Murdoch got fined millions of dollars for the lies that Fox hosts like her were putting out. And she should have never been on the stage. This woman at Fox
just interviewed me at length, and we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that.
Well,
interview.
you told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to
she's from Fox.
Talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we were divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists.
He doesn't have respect for journalists, everybody. I've already showed you video tonight of how he disrespects black journalists, and he disrespects journalists in general when they ask him tough questions that he either can't answer, don't want to answer, because it speaks to his hypocrisy.
In this room are black.
Of course, everybody in the room is black. You went to the National Association of Black Journalists, you fool.
Tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job.
See, this shows you the stupidity and the dumbness of Donald Trump. If a black job is just any job that anybody has that an immigrant can come over and take, why don't you just say jobs? Why do you say black jobs? You know why he's saying black jobs? Because he's trying to appeal and pander to black people by using the migrant situation, which we know is because there were migrants that were sent to Chicago, in New York, in Boston, and California by Republican governors who put them on a bus and sent them to cities that they knew were sanctuary cities where they knew that these people would not be sent back. Now, did I agree with Chicago, Brandon, Johnson, letting those migrants stay there and impact black people? No, I didn't agree with it. Did I agree with Mayor Adams in New York, letting those migrants come into New York and impact black folks there? Hell no. Boston, hell no. I don't like it. None of these urban settings should be sanctuary cities because black people are being put upon and are being impacted in terms of the services that now they got to give to these illegals. I get that. But let's not sit up here and not forget that it was Republican governors, the governor of Florida and the governor of Texas, that were sending these buses to these places purposely, knowing that they would not be sent back because of those policies of being a sanctuary city. And I don't agree with anybody being a sanctuary city. I don't agree with it. Now, but Donald Trump is confronted on what is a black job, and then he turns around and says it's anybody that has a job. Then why don't you just say they're taking jobs? They can impact jobs. And then you got to ask yourself, come on, black people. If a damn immigrant is coming over here, or a migrant or illegal is coming over here, and they could take your goddamn job, that means what? That means that both the Democrats and Republicans have failed us. That means, what state are you in economically that someone can come over here from another country who, A, doesn't speak the language? They're taking your job? If that's true, that shows that black people in this country are in a really bad state. If these illegals can come over here without having any resources, without knowing the language, knowing the culture, that they could just come over here and take your job just like that, and you've been here for a long time. If that's happening, it's wrong. But my question is, where are we as a community? Where are we as black people? What state are we in the 21st century where there's a possibility that someone that's illegal here can take our job? That means what kind of jobs are we? Are we talking about low income jobs? That's really what that's the dog whistle. Donald Trump is actually talking about low wage jobs. So when he talks about black jobs, he's basically stereotyping and saying that, well, you know, black people, you guys are always in low wage jobs. You're always in the jobs that don't pay you a good wage. That's where black people are. It's sort of a commentary on how he sees black people. And I got to ask this question, is that how we see ourselves? But he says, no, it's anybody that has a job. So then why don't he just say jobs? Why is he saying black jobs? Because he wants to do what? He wants to incite and pump up and get black people emotionally pumped into what he's saying so that they can vote for him, because he's basically saying, I can make sure that these people don't take your black jobs. Then on that stage, he says, no, I'm talking about jobs. You see how he talks out of both sides of his neck? He's trying to appeal to the lowest common denominator, y'all. That's why he says, hey, a lot of black people like my mugshot. A lot of black people can relate to me going to jail, as if he's one of us. He's not like us. Donald Trump has been privileged all his life. He's had white privilege all his life. Even though there's a video out there where he made the claim that that if he could come back, he would come back as a black man because he thinks that black people have it better than white people. And Spike Lee was like, he must be out of his goddamn mind. We don't have it better than white folks in this country. We don't have the privilege that they have. Donald Trump's a goddamn fool.
That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr. President,
So if it's anybody that has a job, why would you need to label it a black job? Because you're doing the same thing you did with your sneakers, trying to appeal to black folks because you think that's all we think about is sneakers. These are stereotypes, folks. You make the appeal about your mug shot because you think, oh, well, black people, you know, you guys are used to being in jail, so you should be able to relate to me. And then 3, now he uses the term black jobs. Donald Trump is basically gaslighting black people in a way to get you to vote for him. I get it. People don't like, I get it. Black folks are getting tired of the Democratic Party. You're getting tired of not getting anything out of them. I totally get that. But don't sit up here and act like Donald Trump is some savior for black folks. Because the very money that black colleges got was put together by a black woman, Amos Adams, who put the bill together, not Donald Trump. He simply grifted on it to give himself credit.
Taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of.
Remember, I said this earlier in the show. President Obama has deported more people than any president, even more than Donald Trump. But y'all think that Donald Trump is going to make, I think even Joe Biden has deported more people than Donald Trump. But y'all think that Donald Trump is a deportation president when he hasn't even deported more people than even Obama. And maybe, just maybe, he hasn't imported more people than even Biden. Now, the border is a mess. We got to admit that. The border is a mess. The border is out of control. But guess what, folks? For those of y'all who don't live in California and don't live in a border state, y'all only know what y'all know about it from what y'all get on the news. If you don't live in a border state, you really don't understand. We got people coming in, as I said earlier in the show, a damn wall will not stop people from still coming in when they already been drilling underground tunnels to come in through the underground. That's how the cartel gets a lot of the drugs into this part of the country. And most of y'all who don't live in the border states like I do, you don't know this. Because y'all not here to see what's going on. So no matter what the policies are, yeah, they can deport people. They can put more border patrol, but the border patrolmen, they're not in the undergrounds. They not in Mexico stopping the people in Mexico that's actually walking under the damn ground to come over here. Come on now. Guess who first started building these tunnels in Mexico? It was El Chapo. What y'all know about El Chapo? See, a lot of people, we live in California, we know about El Chapo. Remember when El Chapo was escaping from prison? How did he escape? He was driving on a motorcycle going through underground tunnels coming into the country we call America. God damn.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Right. Like I said, I know that people have their opinions about Kamala Harris, whether she's phony, whether she's not really authentic. You know, everybody has the right to how they feel and their opinions. I'm not here to tell you how you should feel about that particular issue, but I am here to tell you that Donald Trump, and I've showed the receipts tonight, is a liar. He's a manipulator. He's a con artist. And what he did on the stage at the National Association of Black Journalists was disgraceful. I know a lot of people want to come at Rachel Scott and try to make it seem like she's the culprit, but everything that she said about Donald Trump that he did is a fact, and I showed you the receipts for it tonight. All of it is a fact. And when it came time to help urban cities like Baltimore, Donald Trump laughed, said mean things about the cities, and didn't do anything to help. And these were cities where black people live. And particularly, we're talking about Baltimore, that whole incident there. And you heard April Ryan talk about that. I played that video for you. I've been playing the receipts tonight. He talked bad about Letitia James, who just was doing her job as a district attorney. See, this is the thing. Everybody keeps saying that Donald Trump is innocent. Everybody keep messing with him. Guess what? Nobody could charge Donald Trump for anything if he would just stop lying and stop breaking the law. See, if you don't break the law, ladies and gentlemen, and if you don't lie and try to manipulate, then you don't have anybody bringing charges against you. You wouldn't get one charge on you if you wasn't doing shit wrong. I'm going to say it again before I end this tonight. Joe Biden is a crook as well. Yes, he put together the crime bill that put more black men in jail, along with Strom Thurmond, who y'all forget to say that Strom Thurmond was a part of the Republican Party. So they were in on it, as well as Joe Biden. And then y'all forget to say that Bill Clinton signed the damn bill. If you're going to talk about it, get all the culprits in it. Bill Clinton is one of the culprits, along with Joe Biden. Bill Clinton signed the bill to make it a law. Joe Biden put it together with Strom Thurmond, who was a old Dixiecrat who ran to the Republican Party and was well respected within the Republican Party. They loved Strom Thurmond and those that were like him. They all conspired to help put more black men in jail. Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, and Strom Thurmond and those Republicans like him who signed off on it. You can't just say it's Joe Biden without naming the other suspects. Come on now.
Tell the truth.
The other culprits.
Tell the truth.
What a world we live in, y'all. What a world that we have. All the bullshit that goes on this planet. And y'all got to stop telling this lie on the YouTube streets, which is the lie that Donald Trump is responsible for making black colleges have permanent money and increasing the money when he's not the one that increased the money. It was done by the Department of Education under this sister right here, Amos Adams, representative of North Carolina, who made it permanent. And I'm going to say it again before I end this tonight. She's the one that came up with the bill and got it passed, the HR 5363 Future Act, House Education and Labor, because she's on that committee. Donald Trump didn't put together no bill. Donald Trump didn't sit back and break down the economics that was needed. He didn't do any of that. He simply did what a lot of white men have done through history. When a black person invents something, they put their name on it. They steal the invention for their own glory.
Tell the truth.
And this is the damn truth.
Millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world.
Now, remember I said earlier in the show, as I get ready to end, that the Democrats, listen to me, everybody, the Democrats and the Republicans had came to a bipartisan agreement under the Biden administration with the Republicans. They had an agreement to a border package, a border policy to stop what has been going on with the border. Donald Trump told the Republicans to stand down and not to sign the agreement because he did not want Joe Biden to get any credit for putting together a bipartisan package to do something about the border. So the Republicans reneged on the deal because their dictator in charge, their coated personality, Donald Trump, put a stop to it because he did not want Joe Biden to get any shine, because he knew that during re-election, he could use it against Joe Biden and make it seem like Joe Biden didn't do anything about the border, when it was Donald Trump who stopped a bipartisan bill that would have been passed, but told those Republicans not to sign it. And because they're afraid of the mega frenzy of the freaks that follow Donald Trump, his coat that follows him, that they were concerned about backlash if they would have went against Trump and passed it. They're concerned about how the mega heads would go against them. Remember, these are the same people who wanted to hang Mike Pence during January 6th because Mike Pence went and certified the election, and they didn't want him to certify the election. And they already had hangman's gallows outside because they wanted to get their hands on Mike Pence and hang him high and hang him low. Y'all forget about that. That's Donald Trump's people that he told to go to the Capitol. And he said he would go there with them. Like a coward, he didn't go there with them. And there were some that said that Donald Trump was watching what was happening on television and he was enjoying it. That several people had to tell him, man, call in the guards. Donald Trump is a psychopath. I know psychopaths very well. The man's a psychopath. Psychopaths have no empathy and no sympathy for others. They simply use people for their own means. Just like he lying and using the HBCU to make it seem like he doing something for black folks. In the opportunity zones, there's no data to prove that that's actually benefiting black people, but there is reports out there that it's gentrifying black communities where black people can't afford to live there no more. And it's probably helped black people who already had money and capital to go into business any damn way.
Tell the truth.
World, there's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs.
This man just said any jobs. He keeps using race because he wants to attract black voters. He just told you on this stage when he was asked, what is a black job? He said, it's anybody who has a job. So if it's anybody who has a job, why do you need to say black jobs and Hispanic jobs? And it sounds goofy. Sounds goofy. Everybody, I thank you tonight for supporting the show. I appreciate it, definitely. I know there'll be people out there that will criticize me for this show tonight because they are a big-time Donald Trump cult follower that like a culted personality. But I don't give a damn. I'm not going to sit up here as a black man and watch a white man like Trump with his history talk shit about black women who are professionals, lie on them, lie on black people, make up stories, lie and say he's doing something for black people when he's doing the opposite. Lie and say that he wants to commandeer doing something for black colleges when he didn't put this shit together. No, I can't do that. No, that's not what a man does. I don't care. I'm not going to accept an individual of this nature and look the other way because I'm caught up in his personality because I like him. Look at what he did to the Native Americans. This is the type of creep that Donald Trump is. This is the type of creep that he is. Let me show you this before I get out of here tonight. This is the type of creep that Trump is, y'all. This is the type of creep that he is. Check this out.
Atlantic City's way up from last year, way up from the year before. It's having the best year it's ever had. And I don't say it's great for the country, but, more and more you're seeing this. I will say this. I think the greatest crime wave in this country is going to be caused by the Indian gaming.
You see what he just did? The greatest crime wave is going to be by the Indian gaming. He's saying this because he doesn't want competition. He wants to have a monopoly in Atlantic City. He wants his casino to make all the money. So he's trying to discredit, and just like he did with Obama, saying that Obama wasn't a citizen, he wants to delegitimize the Indian gaming casinos. He did this because he wasn't doing well in business.
I think it's totally out of control. I don't think it's properly supervised. The politicians are doing a tremendous disservice to what's going on. I mean,
it's not properly supervised, but yet you fool couldn't even run your damn. See, if he would just, if Trump would have worried about his own casino instead of worrying about Indian gaming casinos, maybe your casino wouldn't have went belly up, fool.
The great crime wave, the Al Capone crime wave of this.
So he's comparing Indian gaming to the crime wave of Al Capone. Al Capone went around taking people's lives, deleting people, putting out orders to have people deleted, having his thugs go out into the street and use Tommy guns to take people out. What are you talking about? Native Americans have been taken advantage of in this country, lied to, land stolen, put on reservations, given your alcohol and drugs to ruin themselves. And listen to this man. Listen to this
time of this generation is going to be caused, in my opinion, by what's happening on the Indian reservations with respect to what I consider to be unsupervised.
He's saying this because he didn't want the competition, y'all. Here goes some more when he went to Washington, D.C., and he was confronted on this bullshit. Check this out.
Is this you discussing Indian blood? We're going to judge people by whether they have Indian blood, whether they're qualified to run a gaming casino or not?
That probably is me, absolutely. Because I'll tell you what, if you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, in your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like the Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't.
So you hear Donald Trump saying they don't look like Indians to him. Now, I know we can go many ways with this, but the bottom line is Donald Trump made all this noise about Indian gaming casinos because, once again, he did not want the competition. He was concerned that they would put him out of business, but he put himself out of business because he ran his casinos into the dirt. The question is, how do you run a casino, everybody, into the dirt? I just want to know, how do you run a let's continue because I'm about to end.
Look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians, and a lot of people are laughing at it, and you're telling how tough it is, how rough it is to get approved. Well, you go up to Connecticut, and you look. Now, they don't look like Indians to me, sir.
See, it's the same thing when he's claiming about who's black and who's... Donald Trump is the authority, I guess.
Thank God that's not the test of whether or not people have rights in this country or not, whether or not they pass your look test.
Depends whether or not you're approving it, sir.
No, it's not a question whether I'm approving it. It's not a question whether I'm approving it. Mr. Trump, you know in the history of this country where we've heard this discussion before, they don't look Jewish to me.
Oh, really?
They don't look Indian to me. They don't look Italian to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a test for whether people could go into business or not go into business, whether they could get a bank loan. You're too black, you're not black enough.
Everybody, wow. There it is, folks. I'm getting ready to shut this all down. Thank you for watching. Those of you that still been rocking with me this late night, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming in. Share the video. What's going on, mass media group? Appreciate you, my brother. Everybody in the chat room, subscribe if you have not subscribed to the channel. I'll probably be back live again on Sunday. I'll probably be going live on the other channel. That's the Info Media Reacts channel. Make sure if you're new to this channel tonight, stroll down on this page, on my page, and you'll see where it says Info Media Reacts. That's my reaction channel. That channel's doing very good as well. Doing very good. Make sure you subscribe to that channel. I'll probably have a pretty damn good polarizing content and topic over there tomorrow. I'm planning to go live on that channel tomorrow if possible. So thank you for being here tonight, listening to this content. This is my position as it relates to Donald Trump, that Mrs. Rachel Scott should not be raked over the coals for asking such questions when everything she said was true. Donald Trump has disrespected April Ryan, who you see here, when she's asked him questions as a journalist. He's disrespected Abby Phillips. Of course, he's had some things to say about Alan Braggs, who we know the controversy. He stepped down from the investigation, but he had nasty things to say about him. He had nasty things to say about Letitia James, who's the Attorney General of New York. We know that he had nasty things to say about Obama, questioning whether he was a citizen, the whole 9 yards, right? We know he's been using, and his people have been using some racial tropes when they talk about Kamala Harris. Whether you like her or you don't like her, or you're for her or not, the truth of the matter is they are using racial tropes and stereotypes. We can't get around that truth. That I'm not going to be in denial of that. And even though I'm a fan of her, you can't be in denial of Donald Trump's his fuckery in this case. And we do know that Joe Biden is no better either, because Joe Biden was carousing with Strom Thurmond from the Republican Party to pass that bill that put so many black men in behind bars. But it could not be possible without your president, Bill Clinton, who did the deed by signing it.
Tell the truth.
You see. So with that said, everybody, it's time. I think it's time to get on out of here. And let me see. I appreciate you all. Let's go right over here. How's everybody doing tonight? Okay. And everybody, thank you. Have a good night. Have a great weekend. Tell somebody that you love them, kiss them, and always appreciate people in your life that you care about. It is what it is, folks. I had to bring this truth. Stop saying that Donald Trump is the main man who gave money to HBCUs, gave them permanent money that it was his intimate wisdom and his desire, because he doesn't have a, stop it. It was almost Adams, Representative Adams' sister from North Carolina, who put it together with that bill that I've been talking about all night. I'm going to remind you again, because sometimes people have hard heads and need to be reminded. It was Bill H.R. 5363, Future Act, created by Sister Representative Adams, who put it together, and that's a fact.
Tell the truth.
So with that said, everybody, what can I say, everybody? Peace, everybody. Peace. Peace.
I'm starting to believe you can, 'cause baby, you the remedy. You're my mirror, I could finally see it, bringing out the best in me, yeah. I don't want these problems, I know I got a lot of work to do. Baby, I'm not perfect, but I know I'm worth it, working out my issues with you.
I've been feeling emotional, thinking about you, babe. What can we focus on? What we should do? Tell me the truth, 'cause I don't wanna see you with somebody else. And I've been feeling lonely in this king-size bed. I'm trying not to worry about the things you say. I ain't got the time, you're always on my mind. Baby, why you playing with my love? I'm trying to be patient with you now. I'll never be sober if you don't pull me closer. Look me in my eyes and tell me how. I'm hypnotized. I'm hypnotized. I've been feeling delusional.
Alicia, thank you for coming over tonight. I know it's late where you are in Chicago, but thank you for your support, sister. You always come through. I appreciate you and everybody in the chat room. Fearsome for reading. Thank you for coming over. Everybody, media group, thank you. Everybody have a great night. Thank you.
I'm trying not to worry about the things you say. I ain't got the time, you're always on my mind. Baby, why you playing with my love? I'm trying to be patient with you now. I'll never be sober if you don't pull me closer. Look me in my eyes and tell me how. I'm hypnotized.
Tell the truth.